It's a pleasure for me to open this political and artistic session around the word communism. I want first to thank all people who worked to the realization of these 3 days, our 4 German mousquetaires, Gernot Kameke, Frank Ruda, Henning Teschke, and Jean Volcker, and naturally everybody in this glorious place, Volksbühne, who have worked to the success of our conference and of its artistic context. And all the speakers, all the artists, all the debaters, and finally you, all the audience. In our historical circumstances, to be here, even at the price to be mute, is an action. As you know, from the beginning of the 80s of the last century to today, the word communism has been progressively banished from the media and from the public debate. As the infamous name of criminal politics, it became the historical reference to establish, in contrast, that capitalism is so good that we cannot imagine another organization of the society. At a philosophical level, across a false understanding of Hannah Arendt, communism has been identified to Nazism, under the word totalitarianism. As opposed to this bloody vision, the name democracy is today the sacred name of our destiny. And we are ready to impose that sort of democracy everywhere in the world by long and bloody wars, if it is necessary. All that certainly is the result of a failure. The failure of the socialist states, notably the failure of the Soviet Union. With some expressions like communist parties, communist activists, communist countries, communist world, and so on, it has been possible to identify the very singular experiences of party states attempting to rule often by terror a new society, to identify all that to the general idea of communism. We must affirm today that communism signifies many important things beyond the experiences during the last century about the very paradoxical existence of a communist power. Paradoxical, in effect, if communism is the idea of the hand of the state power and the birth of a society grounded on a direct association between human beings. We must assume the word communism in the totality of its extension, and not only as a name of some particular forms of state power. The disparition of any reference to communism is now, for everybody working to the emancipation of all the people of our world, clearly a weakness, clearly an intellectual and ideological victory of our enemies. It's why Slavoj, Žižek, and me have proposed last year a large discussion concerning the word communism, its past and its possible future, its different significations, and its different uses. We don't ignore the past and the crimes, but we say that we have to discuss our proper understanding of all that, and not to repeat the sentence of our enemies. The first conference in London was a success, and so we continue today in Berlin. With some friends of the Eastern Europa, we shall examine in particular the relationship between the idea of communism and the concrete existence of the socialist states or of the so-called popular democracies. The point here is not to define concrete forms of organization, collective intervention, or class struggle. We don't here have the task, like in a political congress, to define the true line for going from victory to victory. Or even, as says Mao Zedong, always more cautious than Stalin, from failure to failure. In fact, everybody here speaks in her or his proper name at a philosophical, historical, or ideological level. Our goal is to clarify all the possible uses of what is linked to the word communism. Our common point is only to affirm that this word has a terrible history, but also a magnificent one. And our search is oriented to find the way for a new birth and a new becoming of its ideological potency. It's probably difficult to say today, long life to communism as it is, because it is near nothing. But we shall examine during 3 days if it is possible to say long life to communism as it will be. Thank you.